All right, so we're back to part 2 of our grade point average calculator, and so this is video 2 in the series of this if GPA. And so in this video, we're going to actually apply the if statement or the if function to kind of automate our worksheet into calculating our GPA and revealing some status for each of our classes and whether or not we have honors for a particular quarter. And so you should have finished up video 1 looking something like this. And so what we're going to do in this video is to go through and apply the if statement. So we'll automatically put in some calculations for, of course, for GPA and then whether or not there's an honor status. And then we'll also have it fill in this information here, some descriptor about the grade. So if you have an A, it'll reveal excellent, and a B above average, and so forth. And so we're going to program that to automatically occur when we put in a letter grade. So when we're done, you'll be able to put a letter grade in, and it'll automatically show the grade points, the GPA, and then we'll also go in and it'll put in one of these descriptors based on the grade that you have. And so the first thing we're going to do is to go ahead and erase anything that we might have here. And we can go ahead and leave those in. That'll be all right. And then I think we're about ready. Oh, I'll go ahead and delete that one also, and we'll build that portion there. So you should have something that looks about like this, and hopefully, let's improve these grades, make this look a little happier here. There we go. No one of those F's in there. So if you don't have this, make sure you get this far. Ask any questions if you need some help obtaining this information or making especially this calculation right here, where we calculated the average of your grade point average based on those points. So it'll be okay right now if it's just 0. Just go ahead and delete those. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is this honor status, because it's a real simple if statement. We're just going to create a little function here that looks at this value, and if it's equal to 3 or more, we're going to say yes, it's an honor status. And if it's not that condition, then we're going to say no. So it works like this. Always start with an equal sign. If, and that begins our function. And so the first thing to do is this. If this location at D12 is greater than or equal to 3. So that's the condition. If D12 is equal to or greater than 3, comma, and when I type a comma, I like to say then, we want it to do something. So if this statement is true, we want it to type the word yes. And we have to put that in quotations. It's a label. So if D12 is greater than or equal to 3, if that's true, then type the word yes. Otherwise, put another comma in. What if it's false? And you can see this showing up down here, little helpers here, descriptors. So it says, like, here's the test, and then what to do, what value to do if it's true, and the next statement here is what to do if that value is false. So if it's false, we just simply want to type a no. And then we have to finish that with a parenthesis. And if we did everything correctly, there we go. And clearly it's a no because it's equal to 0. But what if we did have some points in there? Let's test it out. Should turn, there it is, turn to a yes. So it's working. What if our grade here went down to a D? What if it was a 1? Okay, a 1 here, and then all of a sudden there it is, drops below that 3. So it's working. So you can test yours out that way. But I'm going to delete those because now what we're going to do is put in some if statements that are just a little bit more complicated than that. It's just there's going to be more of them. In fact, we're going to have 5 if statements corresponding to 5 different possible grades that a student could earn for any of these particular classes. So take your time. It's real easy to make keyboarding mistakes doing these, but we'll work through it. So here we go. And we're going to make it a little bit easier. We're going to do less typing because we've already done the typing over here. So instead of typing A's, B's, C's, and D's or typing in these words, we'll just click the location of where this information is. Less chance of making a keyboarding error. So the first one, here we go. An equal sign, if. So everything is going to be dependent upon this variable here, the grade that you earn, and as far as what it does to fill in the grade points, course status, and the GPA. So it's all based on us typing in one of these letters. So we'll start with A and go on through to F. So if C4 is equal to an A, then what we want to have happen is we want it to insert the value 4 for the grade points. And so rather than type a 4, we're just going to put the location of that 4. So we, like I said, avoid some of those keyboarding errors that could happen. So if this condition is true, then we want to put in the value in G3, which happens to be 4.0. Now, if it's false, then we want it to repeat and do another if statement. So if it's false, then we want to say if this location is equal to a B, then we want it to put in this value, 3. If it's false, then we have to put another if statement. So we're going to have to do this 5 times because of our grades A, B, C, D, and F. So if, and now because it's kind of hiding here, we know that what we need is to put in the location C4. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in C4. So if C4 is equal to a C, or where the location is there at I2, then we want to put in 2 points. Otherwise, if it's false, we need to do another statement, because if it's a D, if C4 is equal to D over there at J2, then we need it to put in the 1 point and then 1 more. Otherwise, if C4 is equal to an F over here at K2, then we need to put in the value here, which corresponds to a 0. And that is the last one. And so then we can put all of that in parentheses. And because we have 5 if statements, we're going to have to enclose that with 5 parentheses. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now we have to enclose all of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to look like that. And yes, you are correct. This will take a little bit of practice. So you're going to do this again. And if we did everything correctly, we won't get any error messages when we press enter. So let's see what happened here. There we go. Seems to make sense. So if I come in here and I put an A, the grade point should change to a 4. So I'm going to test it to make sure that we did it correctly. So there's my A. Let's see what happens. There we go, 4 points. How about if I got a B? Hopefully we get 3 points. There it is, looking good. How about a C? Yep. And a D. Yet 1 point, and then if we got an F for that class, we should get 0 points. So I'll double click on that. So there's our big long statement using 5 different if statements corresponding to these different variables that could occur with what you earn in a class. So take a look at that. See if you can get this first one. And if you have to, of course, rewind the video, give it a go. And then when you finish that, show that to me. And so we're going to make this the conclusion of this this second video on this. And then we're going to go on in the next video and practice. And then I'll show you a way that we can even automate that even a little bit more through some special copying of the if function. So good luck with that.